You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning. My name is David Viana, and before I call this meeting to order, I will note for the record that I will serve as the acting chair for today's meeting. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Queens West Development Corporation for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. We welcome public comment on today's agenda items. I will note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 5 p.m. on Friday. I'd like to state for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. I will also note that we do not have any members of the public attending today's meeting. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda. If so, I would ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you may recuse yourselves from any discussion or vote with regard to such item or items. Hearing none. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the directors' meeting of March 24th, 2025. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. I will now present the request for authorization for the corporation to adopt its operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2026-2027. The directors are being asked to consider for approval the Queens West Development Corporation operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2026-2027. The operating budget of $6,150 includes personal services expenses of $0 and non-personal service expenses in the amount of $6,150. Personal services expenses, which were previously covered by QWDC's operating budget, continue to be covered by Empire State Development's real estate development and planning department budget. Operating expenses for fiscal year 26-27 will include legal, accounting fees, insurance, and telephone and internet expenses. The capital budget of $3,039,500 includes property management maintenance costs of $1,619,500, which includes new funding for the next phases of environmental remediation and continued environmental monitoring on Parcel 8. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has indicated to QWDC that the dissolved concentrations of contaminants of concern, mainly BTEX and naphthalene, remain at levels that do not meet the remedial action objectives of the site management plan in place between QWDC and New York State DEC. As a result, DEC instructed QWDC to present a work plan to detail a strategy to enhance the natural biodegradation of the contaminants of concern on site. DEC has approved of the work plan submitted by QWDC, and we must now implement the next steps in the work plan. A contract amendment with QWDC's environmental consultant is next on the agenda, and I'll provide additional background on the contract amendment. That item is before us. In addition to the property management maintenance costs, the capital budget construction costs of $450,000 for the State Parks Ranger and Comfort Station, $865,000 for the 47th Street Park entrance, and a small contingency. Both construction projects were completed under the purview of the New York City Department of Design and Construction, DEC, and Queens West Development Corporation will issue payment upon notice and request for the agency, from the agency. Just to note that this funding has been earmarked for the Park Ranger Station and Park entrance for a few years now, and Queens West continues to wait for DDC to issue the notice of completion to release these funds. Lastly, the capital budget also includes $70,000 for possible legal expenses connected to the property transfers of the Queens Library site and the northern portion of Center Boulevard from QWDC to the city of New York City. The long-term plans for both of these properties have always included the eventual transfer of ownership to the city. As indicated earlier, we do not have any comments from the public. Are there any questions or comments from the directors?
Just one. The capital funding for the environmental work it's reimbursed.
It's reimbursed 1/3 from Avalon Bay, the developer, and 1/3 from Queens Library. So Queens West is on the hook for the remaining 1/3, but we outlay the costs fully.
Right, and then you get reimbursed, and that would be in future year budgets, the reimbursement.
The budget is factoring in the full amount so that we can pay the full amount up front. And then as we get reimbursed, I guess the future needs will be reflected in the future years.
She's asking if the payment, like the reimbursement, will appear next year. Like if it's repaid next
Potentially.
year, would we see a source of funds come into the budget? I don't know.
I think ESD is advancing the funds for
Right, I don't know if you would see it. It's just repaying.
The corporate funds.
It's repaying the corporate funds.
Correct.
Questions? Okay. Right. I will now entertain a motion for approval. Motion.
So move.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. I will now also present today's final agenda item, authorization to amend the corporation's contract with Fleming Lee Shoe. So the directors are being asked to consider for approval an amendment to the contract with Fleming Lee Shoe Inc., provide additional environmental remediation services and to continue environmental monitoring services, and authorization to take related actions. Between October 2010 and November 2011, the initial treatment remedy for Parcel 8, which is home to the Hunters Point Library, was completed. Treatment was done using surfactant injections and extractions to remove coal tar contaminant. It was anticipated that this remediation would be enough at the time to satisfy DEC's remediation requirements. On December 31st, 2011, the site was awarded its certificate of completion by New York State DEC and moved into site management under a site management plan, or SMP, with New York State DEC. The site management plan called for quarterly groundwater sampling to continue evaluating groundwater conditions and the overall effect of remediation. This quarterly sampling ended in 2024, and in November of 2024, Queens West Development Corporation, through its environmental consultant Fleming Lee Shoe, petitioned New York State DEC to terminate future groundwater sampling on Parcel 8 following the completion of the agreed upon scope. In May of 2025, DEC declined to approve of Queens West's petition and requested a work plan from the Queens West Development Corporation that will detail a strategy to enhance the natural biodegradation of residual contaminants of concern on site. Accordingly, in August of 2025, Queens West submitted a letter proposing various steps to address the remaining contaminants. In December of 2025, New York State DEC approved of Queens West's approach. The proposed contract amendment today will allow Queens West to implement the DEC-approved approach. Fleming Lee Shoe, as Queens West Development Corporation's environmental consultant, will provide environmental remediation services, including the development of work plans, investigations, studies, pilot programs, and full-scale implementation of remediation. Fleming Lee Shoe will also provide periodic groundwater monitoring services, as well as environmental consulting and oversight services as needed over a 2-year period. The proposed contract amendment will increase the contract amount by $2,401,749 to $4,445,893.80 and will extend the contract term by 2 years to March 2028. Due to Fleming Lee Shoe's in-depth and pre-existing knowledge of the Queens West project and the importance of implementing the next phases of remediation as soon as possible, this amendment is being requested on a single source basis consistent with earlier amendments to this contract. It should be noted that, as was the case with the previous phase of environmental work on Parcel 8, Queens West Development Corporation will enter into a cost-sharing agreement with Avalon Bay and Queens Library. Queens West and ESD staff is currently negotiating this cost-sharing agreement with the parties. Okay, so as indicated earlier, we do not have any comments from the public. Are there any questions or comments from the director? Okay, I will now entertain a motion for approval.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Now there being no further business, I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. The motion carries. I want to thank everyone for your participation in today's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.